Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of paint restoration on Project Rum Runner. I got the rear suspension all done, I got the rear shocks all done, I got everything that I need to do under the back done, so I went ahead and put the bed back on. Let me bring you guys out here a little bit and I'll give you an angle where you can really see the stance. It's not too low, it's not too high, it's right where I wanted it. I'm planning on using this truck as a driver, and my driveway's got a really steep drop to get down into it, and I don't want to bottom the truck out every time I pull in my driveway, so I didn't want to slam it too low. I want it to be drivable. That's the easiest way to explain it without rambling about it for too long. I wanted it to be drivable, I wanted it to have a sporty looking stance, and I think it's both. So right now I'm working on the truck. It's a Silverado, so it originally had the molding that goes all the way down the sides, and it's held on. I got most of it off already, but it's held on with 3M tape. And I got, over the time I've had the truck, I pretty much got most of the foam part of the double-sided tape off, but it still has this like tape layer or glue layer or whatever you want to call it, and I have to get that off before I can do any of the paint restoration, because I want to be able to go over that and blend it. So I've got this eraser wheel made by 3M. This is the first time I've ever used one. My buddy had a half used up one that he let me use to see if I could make it work and whatever, and he said if I ruin it or wear it out, it doesn't matter, because he's done a bunch of vehicles with it and he needs to get a new one anyways. So I got the cab, the door, and the back of the fender done. I'm to here on the bed, and then we've got back here on the bed also, and there's this EFI sticker on the tailgate I want to try it out on, because I want to get rid of that too, because the truck is no longer EFI. So, and the sticker is kind of yellowed and old and whatever, so I want to get rid of it. Anyways, I'm not going to show you guys the other side of the truck. I don't have all the double-sided tape off of it yet, but I did do some paint restoration on it yesterday just to see what it was going to take and see how it was going to turn out. So that side's already had some work done to it, and I want to make this video covering the whole process of doing it. So we're just going to work on this side. And by the way, if you're watching the video, please leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe if you're not, share it with your friends. I'm really trying to grow the channel, and every little bit helps. So at the least, pop the like button for me before you click off the video. I'd really appreciate it, and let's get to work. All right, so I think I pretty well got this eraser wheel figured out. My drill is thermonuclear right now. It definitely heats it up. It's putting some work on it, but so far what I've gathered is you don't want to spin it too fast, but you have to spin it fast enough that this wheel's not like grabbing onto the body. So it's kind of this trigger is really touchy. It's kind of a fine line there of what you do, but the best way I figured out to do it is just get it on there, get the drill spinning at a decent low speed, and just start working it. So I'm going to go ahead and work through these two strips right here and get these knocked out, and then we'll get the spot on the back there knocked out. We'll try to bust that EFI sticker off, and then I'll show you guys the process I'm doing for restoring the rest of the paint. Here we go. This truck's had a repaint on it before, at least at the bottom, and they taped it off. Another logging truck. Anyways, they taped it off right at the tape for the molding. So I keep thinking I didn't get it all off, but I did. It's just leaving a little edge on there. So it's going to be what it is. We'll deal with it. I go through and I do a little bit, and I just go back with a dry rag and wipe it off to make sure I got it all. And then this drill is hot, so. Next step I'm going to do, as you can probably tell, this thing's covered in dust and body filler dust and paint overspray and pretty much anything else you can think of from sitting in the shop for almost a year without being touched. So I'm going to go ahead and it's got all the dust and residue from taking those stickers off. So the next thing I want to do is get it cleaned up a little bit so I'm not swirling dirt around in my compound in the next step. So I don't have a water hose here where I can wash it, and don't really need it right now. So what I do, or what I'm gonna do, what I did on the other side, I just got this aerosol ammonia-free glass cleaner. I'm gonna spray it on, just take a microfiber towel, wipe it all off, and just clean all the dust and scum and nasty off the side of it. So I'll knock that out real quick. Okay, I got it all wiped down and cleaned up. Not doing anything with the hood. As you can tell, it's still green. It's got clear coat peeling, everything else. I'm gonna do a major transformation to that hood, and that's gonna be on the next video. But as you can tell, I got it wiped down, and she's dull and kind of rough to the touch. It's not real smooth, and extremely faded. I mean, there's the original color, and that's what you got. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna buff it, but I'm not going through what you would consider to be your standard buffing. Usually you start with like a heavy grit, and you actually cut into the paint almost like sanding it, and it puts scratches in it and everything else. And then you step up to a finer grit, and you kind of take out the scratches and stuff you put in with the rougher grit, and then you go to a finer grit, take those scratches out, and then you finish off with a polish, and you polish it. Well, there's not a lot of paint left on this truck. As you can see, top of the doors are almost through to primer. There's some spots here The paint on the roof is almost completely gone. All down the door, paint's gone. Top of the fender, paint's gone. So I don't want to start cutting on this truck. I don't want to repaint it. I don't care if I take all the scratches and stuff out of it. I'm not fixing any dents. I'm not patching any holes. I'm not doing any body work. I want to keep the body of this truck the way it is, but I want to make it look the best that I can. So what I've got here is Meguiar's number 9 swirl remover. Deep gloss cleaner polish removes fine scratches and swirl marks while providing a dark dramatic shine. So it's basically just a polish, and that's what I'm gonna do. I got my buffer here. Generally, when you are polishing, you would use a foam pad instead of a, I don't know, sheep's fur pad or what, sheep wool pad, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not. I'm using this because it puts a little bit more heat in the paint, which is gonna bring the color out and blend it a little bit better. So I'm gonna get set up here, get the buffer ready, and we'll start working, and I'll show you exactly how I'm doing it. I'm ready to go. I always keep an old wore out broken screwdriver right by me when I'm buffing, because you want to clean out your pad. You don't want it to dry out and have a lot of your material build up on it, because then it'll just start scratching real bad. So what I do, I just take it and turn it on real low. Kind of soften it back up, get some stuff broke out of it, and then I'm going to take my buffing compound and I'm going to put a decent amount on my pad, not a lot. When I first start out, each time buffing, I put a little bit more on, because as you go, it's going to start building up in the pad and you won't need as much. You'll already have some. But I do that. I'm going to do one panel at a time. So I'm going to start with the fender. I'll buff out the whole fender, and then I'll go through the next step of what I do with you. And then once the fender's done, then I'll move on to the door. I'll do the door, and then I'll do half the bedside, finish it off, and then I'll do the other half of the bedside. So you want to work. These are actually big areas for what you really want to work in. A lot of people I've seen do this will like cut the fender in half and do the front half and then do the back half and do part of the door. Since I'm not really cutting it, I don't think I need to do that. I can do a whole fender or a whole door at one time. So I just take my pad without turning it on, and I just kind of get my compound spread out here. And then I'll turn I want my buffer to be turning when I set it on the paint. I don't want to hold it on there and then turn it on. So I'll get it going just a little bit, and then I'll just start working into it. Okay, a little bit more explanation here. This is a variable speed buffer. It's got this turn dial back here, hopefully you can see it. It goes from 1 to 6. I'm running it on 3, which is a good speed. And if you notice, I don't hold it, say I got like an edge right here, I don't hold it flat on that edge, because those edges, the paint's a lot thinner. And you'll burn through it real easy and get down to primer, bare metal, whatever. And I don't stop. I buff a lot faster than most people do, because I'd rather go over it 15 times and not burn the paint than go over it 3 times and be going too slow with the buffer too fast and burn into it. So I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer and I can show you the difference in the fender that I buffed versus the door, and then I'll show you what I do for the next step. Alright, so here's the fender I just got done buffing. You can see the shine on it, you can see my reflection in it, and there's the difference between the fender that I buffed and the door right next to it. There's not really any reflection, and this looks really dull and beat up, and this is shiny and looks like it has some depth, and you can really see a reflection in it. Now up here where the paint, the clear coat's baked off and the paint's rough, I did polish over that lightly just to kind of put a protective barrier on it, but you don't want to get into that too hard because you'll actually destroy it. So got the fender all buffed. It looks like it has patchy marks and stuff in it, but that's just a compound that hasn't been cleaned off yet. So I'm gonna go get what I do next and we'll get it knocked out. Here it is. The lighting is terrible, but I hope you guys can see the difference even just from the cleaner wax after buffing it. I mean, it's night and day. It really comes out good. And it's really easy and it's fairly quick compared to the cutting and buffing process, which would take you a whole day, if not longer, to do the truck. So it's looking good to me. That's what I want to do with it. Like I said, I'm not trying to take scratches and nicks and dings and dents out. I'm not gonna, you know, do any touch-up paint or anything like that. I want it to have the character. I want it to be an old shop truck, but I just want to make it clean and look like somebody cares about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish buffing out that side and we'll see what it looks like when I get done. All right. I got the whole driver's side of this thing buffed, waxed, whatever, cleaned, all of it. And I've got some sun this morning, so I'm gonna turn it over here where you guys can see it, show you what it looks like with the sun shining on it. Really makes a big difference. And for what it is, it looks pretty good. It's got a good shine to it. I'm happy with it. I like it. So I even did up the doorpost here around the back of the cab. It's all nice and smooth and finished now. I haven't decided for sure what I'm gonna do to the roof because it's just surface rust and bare primer basically, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Next thing I'm gonna do is this tailgate, and I need your guys' opinion because I might just hold off and do it until I get response from you guys, see what you think I should do. But here's the tailgate. Obviously I'm gonna leave the paint that's on it and buff it out, but I don't know what I should do with the Chevrolet badge. So the choices are, I can either take it completely off, buff it and just have a smooth tailgate. I can buff out the aluminum on it and leave it like it is, or I can paint it black to match the grille and the mirrors. So drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. Should I take it off? Should I paint it black? Or should I buff it out to shiny aluminum? So leave me a comment, let me know. But I'm gonna throw the hubcaps that this truck's gonna have it on that driver's side now, so you guys can see like the finished look of what it's going to look like with the wheels done and the hubcaps done and the side buffed and all that stuff. So we'll throw those on, I'll show you guys that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the passenger side, because I still have to go back and get the rest of the glue off and buff from the body line down, because I buffed the whole side except from basically where that double-sided tape for the molding was down. I didn't get that done, so I'm gonna get that done. But first I'll throw those hubcaps on, show you guys what the wheels look like, and we'll go from there. I got the hubcaps on, and this is the look I'm going for. Everybody might not agree with me, but this is the vision that I've had in my head since I started messing with this truck, and I like it. Skinny, short tires. I call these salt flat hubcaps. Some people call them full moons. So they are whatever you want them to be, but I like them. I think it looks cool. Plain, smooth hubcaps. Body's all shined up. Stance is sitting right. It's all coming together. So now that that side's done, I can show you guys this side, because it already had the hubcaps on it and that stuff. But I got this side all buffed out too. Got the hubcaps on it. I just have to get the rest of the adhesive off down here and buff that part. And then this fender was green like the hood, and I got the paint code matched and got it put into an aerosol can and sprayed it. So it's kind of rough and a little uneven, so I'm gonna wet sand that all down and then try to buff it and see if I can get it a little closer. If not, other than it's kind of dull instead of shiny, it doesn't look terribly bad. Kind of blends, but I want it to look better, so we'll see what we can do. So I'm gonna work on this side, getting all the rest of that adhesive off, getting the rest of that side buffed. I'll show you guys the finished product, everything but the tailgate. Like I said, I'll hold off on that till I get some response from you guys on that, but I'll get the passenger side completely done. I'll bring you back, I'll show it to you, and then we'll move on to what we're gonna do next. I got this fender all wet sanded down, lightly buffed it, and then hit it with the cleaner wax. And I'm not gonna say it blends nice, I'm not gonna say it's a perfect match, but it is the same color and it's got a nice shine to it. So maybe once I get done with the rest of the stuff I'm doing today, I'll push it out from under the overhang and get it out in the sun, and it might have a whole different look. But for now, I want to stay under the overhang because it's in the 80s today and sunny, so I prefer to stay in the shade. But I've got from the body line down to do from the back of the fender to the back, and I got to do this post here like I did on the other side. And then all the buffing except for the tailgate will be done. I mentioned before I'm not doing anything with the hood right now because the next video you guys see is going to be basically all about that hood, and I'm thinking it's going to be really cool. So I'm going to finish buffing all that, cleaning, buffing, waxing, and then we'll do something else. All right, I got the driver's side all done. Well, with the exception of the tailgate and the hood, I got the whole truck done, cleaned, buffed, waxed, wiped down, hubcaps are on. So the next thing I want to do is restore these taillights. And to do that, I'm going to do a similar process to what I did on the sides of the truck, but I have a 3M kit that's made for restoring headlights, which will be the same because it's same plastic, everything like that. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna buff these out all the way and wax them, or if I'm gonna buff them down with the kit to get them clean and smooth, and then put a coat of clear coat on them. I'm thinking I wanna just buff them down and wax them because then I can buff them and keep them clean, where if I put clear coat on them and it sits out in the sun will eventually yellow the clear coat and bake it off. So I'm probably gonna just buff them out and wax them, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get that kit out and get the tools that I need over here to do it, and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna restore these taillights. All right, I'm gonna explain to you guys what I'm doing here, and then I'm gonna put it in time lapse and play some music for you because it's really windy out here and I'm sure it's annoying. So I'm gonna take glass cleaner just like I did on the truck, clean all the dust and dirt and everything off of these. Then I got this 3M headlight restoration system. You can buy it at just about any parts store depending on where you go. It's like 20 to 30 bucks, but it comes with different grits of sandpaper and buffing wheels and all that. And then it also comes with these two packets. This one's a rubbing compound for buffing. Actually, no, this one doesn't. Usually they used to come with a buffing compound, and then they came with a wipe-on clear coat to put on them, but they don't even come with the wipe-on clear coat anymore. So it comes with the buffing compound. Buff them out once you sand them down, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just clean them, and then we'll go through the buffing process. This has a chuck on it. You can just put it in a drill. So we'll get that chucked up in the drill. I'll get these cleaned off, and then we'll get these things done. Try to get through this real quick before the wind picks back up. I got them all buffed out. This one must be a little bit more faded than this one because this one's a little deeper red, but compared to what they were, they both shined up really nice. And I know you can go online and buy these pretty cheap, but I don't want to put brand new ones on here because I'm trying to keep the old shop truck look. I don't want to have brand new lights on it, so I want to take as much old stuff and restore it as I can. So got these all buffed out. They're nice and shiny. I'm going to take the cleaner wax that I used on the truck after I buffed it, and I'm going to wax these really good, and then I'll get them put on the truck. Alright, well, I got the tail lights put in. I got it pushed out into the sun where we could see how shiny it is, and then the sun went behind the clouds. So I don't know if it's gonna make a whole lot of difference or not, but yeah, there's the sun right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk around it anyways. There's no shadows or anything out here, so it's different than having half sun, half shade, half whatever. So, but even with it being overcast, it's still shiny. I can still see reflection in it. Like I said, the hood's gonna be the next video, and when I do the hood, I'll go ahead and do the grill and bumper filler and headlights and marker lights and all the other lights, and put the bumper on and all that stuff. This fender is not a perfect match, but it doesn't look that bad. I mean, I know it's a different color. I know it's not a different color, it just doesn't look the same. And I know it, but driving down the road or whatever, sitting in a garage in the dark, you'll never be able to tell. So, not too worried about it, but that's it. Don't have a whole lot of time in it, and it made a really big difference. So don't forget to comment, let me know what I should do with the tailgate. And whatever the general consensus in the comments is what's gonna happen to it. But other than that, I'm done for now. So appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget, like, subscribe, share. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.